Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Fun with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Allie. Also, Happy New Year. Today is Wednesday, January 1st. It is New Year's Day, so I hope you all partied your asses off New Year's Eve and had a great time, and that you're ready to ring in the new year, because I sure as shit know that I am. In this week's episode, I'm actually going to be doing 2019 in review. So we'll be looking back at 2019, looking at the highs and the lows, some accomplishments, some things I did that I didn't think I would do ever in my life, and then also take a moment to look ahead to 2020, kind of look at the things that I'm looking to accomplish in 2020 and how I want to do that, and kind of, where I want to go in the next year. You'll also be hearing from some of my friends who have been kind enough to send in their own 2019s in review, so you'll be hearing from them as well. Let's kick off 2019. So let's go back through time to early 2019, January, February, March. I started 2019 off in California, which was the end of like a 6-month deployment, I think, out in Sacramento, which was never on my list of places to ever visit. But now I can say I've been there, so there's that. Some of the highlights of California: I got to spend New Year's in California last year with my friend Julie, who you've met on previous episodes, and we went to a barcade, which was amazing because I hadn't been to one in many, many years. The first barcade I ever went to was in Portland, Oregon, and it was amazing. And this one was equally as amazing. And New Year's fell on a Friday, I think, last year, I want to say. But it fell on the same day that they had like free games. So you didn't have to pay for any of their games, which was awesome. So yeah, we spent New Year's at a barcade, eating pizza, having some drinks, and playing the basketball game where you shoot hoops and you time each other. It was a really great time. I also got to meet some amazing people in California, which I've kind of talked about before, which on all these like kind of disaster deployments, I build my little deployment family, and so I always look forward to meeting new people and making some new friends, and I definitely did in California. And leaving Sacramento was a highlight of 2019, getting out of there. It was a rough deployment, and it was definitely the deployment that made me realize that this job was definitely not what I wanted to do, and my anxiety was out of control at that moment. And yeah, it was in those 6 months, I guess, or 4 to 6 months, I don't remember how long I was there in California, where I really kind of made the decision that I needed to get out and to do something new, which after 7 years, at a job, it was time. So I think that was a positive thing that came out of California. And I also got to see one of my best friends, Leslie. And I hadn't seen her in, probably like 5 years. So it was great. Like, she drove over from where she lives in California. And I think we just spent like a day and a half together. But it was awesome. It was so good to see her. And I can't wait for the next time I get to see her. Hopefully it won't be another 5 years. But it's always good. It's always good to see Leslie. And she's one of those friends that we kind of just like pick up where we left off. And that was definitely a highlight while I was in California. So moving through the year, a couple months, we come to May. In May of 2019, I took a month and a half off from work for both my mental and physical health. And that was a big move for me personally, because I'm kind of the type of person who will just sit back. I don't typically stand up for myself. Like, I'm not a very good advocate for myself. I don't know. I'm very passive. I don't like to stir the pot or have people think I'm, I don't know, like weak, I guess. But it was something I needed to do something for myself during that time, coming off of that deployment, and it needed to happen badly. So I took the steps and took time off from May to mid-June, I think. So yeah, it was like a month and a half, and I went to a therapist for the first time ever in my life. Shout out to my therapist again. She's awesome. And also went to physical therapy as well. So I was kind of, working on both my mental and my physical health during that month and a half. And, I'm lucky enough that I could afford to do that. I had time saved up, and I had money saved up. And I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity or the capability to do that. So I was really lucky that I could do that. And it was amazing. Like, in that month and a half, I really got to just kind of sit down and figure out where I wanted to go in life and with my career. I taught myself how to weave because I had to stop knitting because I was knitting so hard I hurt my wrists, and so I had to start weaving. I was able to kind of just spend a lot of time outdoors. Like, I went for walks every day. I dog sat for some people, which is always great. I think everyone should have a dog or cat or some type of animal. It does wonders for you. I started writing again. I hadn't written anything in quite a long time, I think, because I was just so mentally exhausted at the end of every day that I didn't have anything left in my brain to put into writing. And so I started writing again. I got way more into photography and just kind of had a moment to breathe and do the things that I enjoy doing. And one of my main goals during that time off was to try to find another job. Reasons that I wanted a new job was because I really wanted to, have a life of some sort, be able to hang out with my friends and to do things and to plan things. And so that was definitely one of the top reasons why I wanted a new job. But I also wanted to really start focusing on my business, especially in photography. I wanted to start a podcast. I wanted to get a pet or two. And I also, I realized I really needed to do something different for my physical and mental health. That was, again, kind of at the top of the list as well. So I focused that time and kind of took care of myself, decompressed, and started looking for a new job. And so in July of 2019, I quit my job, the job I've had for 7 years. I've been with the same employer for 7 years, but I've had, I think, 3 or 4 different jobs during that time. Honestly thought I would never leave that employer, mainly because I didn't think that I could do anything else. I didn't think I had any abilities that would translate to some other type of job, but surprise, they do. So in July, I quit my job and started my new job and was super excited because it meant that I could start living. That's how I felt. I literally felt like my life started over in July and I was going to be able to have friends and do stuff. That's really what that new job was about. Is it the best job for me? No. Do I absolutely love it? No. But is it better than where I was? Absolutely. And does it allow me to have a life? Yes. So will it do for now? Most definitely. So moving forward a couple months, in September, I started a podcast. Woot woot! This podcast, in case you were wondering if I had other ones, no, it's just this one. I listen to a shit ton of podcasts, and I don't know, I've always kind of wanted to try some way of being creative and kind of sharing my life with people, and yeah, I don't know. I was like, a lot of people have podcasts. Why can't I? And so I did some research. I read a couple books. I looked online and I fucking did it. I got some gear and I started recording this shit. So here I am. I'm obviously still figuring a lot of things out. I have some very fancy podcasting gear that I don't use because I don't know how to use it, but that's one of my 2020 goals, is to learn how to actually use the equipment that I have, which, will hopefully improve the audio quality of this podcast. So look forward to that in 2020. Like, I really honestly enjoy podcasting. I love it. I get a lot of joy out of it, even if I'm not out doing stuff with friends. Like with this episode, I enjoy being able to kind of share my life with people, where I've been, where I'm going, the shit that I do with my friends, the shit that I do by myself. Like, I really just enjoy sharing it, even if it's with like 5 listeners. Like, I don't know, it's really fun. So, and I look forward to seeing kind of where it goes and if it grows and how it grows and how it changes. I'm looking forward to that in 2020 and hopefully, beyond for many years to come. I guess one of the, if you want some stats for the podcast, so I started in September, so that's been like 4 months roundabouts, and I have had, the podcast has been listened to about 220-ish times in there, which is awesome. Like, I didn't think anyone would listen to it ever. Some of those are obviously me listening to my own episodes to make sure that they don't sound like shit. And, like, my listenership has definitely, like, fallen in the last couple of months. But it says I have 5. So you know what? I'd like to thank those 5 listeners. I think I know who you all are. And I just want to say thank you to my friends and my family that listen to the podcast on a regular basis. I really appreciate it. And I also just want to thank all my friends for being game and being willing to go out and do things with me, and to also sit down and record for hours about the things that we've done. I love you all and I really appreciate it. And hopefully in 2020 we'll get up to some more shit and it'll be a blast. So September was awesome because I started a podcast. October was awesome because I fucking went to Scotland. That was my first international trip. Like, I never in a million years thought I would ever actually be able to go to Scotland or anywhere outside of the US. And I don't know, I'm at a loss for words. It was truly an amazing experience. And now I just want to continue to have experiences like that. I want to continue to travel and explore new places and just keep going. Now that I've done it once, it's not near, like, I was pretty anxious about the whole thing, mainly just like getting there, getting to the airport, getting on the plane, and getting to where I needed to be. But now that I've done it, I feel a little bit better about it. I understand the process more. And so, yeah, I went to fucking Scotland, you guys. It's like it's been a lifelong dream. Something that I've wanted to do since I was very young, and now I can say that I did it. And that's, like, I don't know, it's pretty fucking cool to be able to do something that you, 1, have always wanted to do, and 2, never thought you would be able to do. I don't know, like, it pumps you up. It gives you, all the feels. So Scotland was amazing. And I met some amazing people there that I continue to stay in touch with today. And so that's kind of like a bonus that came out of going to Scotland and going on tour and meeting all those people. If you have the means to travel, I encourage everyone to do it. I'm already starting to plan a trip in 2021 with my friend Leslie. So hopefully that will actually come to be. We're not sure where we're going yet, but hopefully it will be somewhere warm with beaches. That's what I would like to do on my next trip, is just lounge by the beach. I don't know, maybe go on like a jungle hike or ATVing, maybe a zip line or 2, like, something like that. I'd be into that. Maybe I would try, I was going to say scuba diving, but no, maybe I would try snorkeling in the ocean. Maybe. As we all know, I'm not a huge fan of the ocean, but, on a trip, maybe I would be bold enough to at least try it for a little while. 2021, we've got some time to plan it, and we'll see where we're going. Some other highlights in November. So November was National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo, which I am going to do an episode on NaNoWriMo because it was something else that I thought I would never do. Never thought I would participate in it. Never thought I would be successful in doing it. And yet this year, I fucking did it. So I want to share that experience And I've also had a few other people who are in some writing groups that I'm in kind of provide their experience as well. So you get to hear from some other people. And that'll be an episode that will be coming out probably mid-January. So look for that one if you're interested in writing or just interested in learning more about National Novel Writing Month. Definitely tune in for that one. It'll be a good episode. All that being said, in November, I finished a first draft of a book that I've been writing for the last 10 years. I sat down every day in November and tried to meet a certain word count, and I fucking did it. And I finished a book. Like, it's not done, obviously. I gotta edit it and make it pretty and stuff, but I finished a fucking first draft of a book. That's 10 years in the making. So it was a huge accomplishment in 2019, and I'm hoping to continue to work on it and get it to a good place and, you know, probably self-publish it. If I could do that in 2020, that would be fucking amazing. So there's a goal. 2020, actually finish my book and self-publish it. Some other random highlights from 2019. I really started to focus more on what I want in life and how to get there. So where do I want to live? Where do I want to buy a house? What do I want to do for the rest of my life, right? Like that, I still get asked that question all the time. What do I want to be when I grow up? I don't fucking know. I'm 33. I have no idea. I don't think I'm ever going to know for sure. But I can tell you what I like, which is photography, writing, and just being creative in general in some way. And I want to do that in my life in some capacity. And I think, right, because I don't know, but I think I would like to have my own business and work for myself where I'm just doing those things always. So I'm starting to explore that and trying to figure out how I can work towards that goal of working for myself and just doing photography and just being creative as part of my own business. It took me a while to get there, to realize that this was something that I wanted to do, but I finally, I think, had the clarity of this year to really think about it and figure it out. And for the first time in my life, I'm not focused so much on survival and having enough money to eat or pay rent, that I can start planning a little bit more and looking to the future rather than just scrambling in the right now to survive. So again, I'm lucky enough that I'm in a place in my life where I am financially in an okay spot and can kind of start taking those steps to build the life that I want, which is something else I never thought I would ever be able to do. I never thought I would be in a place where I would have that luxury. So yeah, 2019 was good in that because I finally feel like I can take a moment, breathe, and not just be thinking about, like, do I have enough money to pay rent and buy food? So it's given me a little bit of time to relax and really start focusing on me and where I want to go. If you're like me and you're just getting started with podcasting, it can be scary and overwhelming. That's why Anchor is such a great choice. It's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast, and best of all, it's free. It also has great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Another great feature of Anchor is that they'll distribute your podcast for you. Your listeners will be able to access your podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many others. You can also make money from your podcast using Anchor, and that's with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and it's easy to use. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Some other awesome things. I got to see my best friend Katie, her husband, and their dogs, I think at least 4 times this year which is an all-time high. You know, I was lucky if I would see Katie maybe like once every 3 years or so, you know, something like that. So it was great. I love them all very much. And Katie's kind of like a safe place. I can go and relax and decompress and hang out with their dogs. I love them very much, and I appreciate that they let me come and crash at their place. I made my business legit. Like I've been doing photography for like the last 7 years. And this year I took the steps to actually start a business, Coots Creations LLC, that now exists. And I think I started that in September as well. And so my photography business kind of falls under Coots Creations. And I've made more money this year in photography than I have in the last 7 years. So I really kind of put my mind to it and focused and really started to like get some clients and take some pictures and sell some shit. So it's been awesome being able to do that, and it kind of like lit a fire under my ass to do more and to get better. So that's another 2020 goal, is to really start focusing in on my photography, figuring out what type of photography I really want to do, and then honing it in and moving forward with it, as well as just continuing to learn, maybe taking some classes and business classes and photography classes, and really trying to, you know, make it a thing. Let's see, I opened an Etsy shop and online gallery, which I'm gonna fucking plug myself. I'll put that shit in the episode description. So if you want to check out my photography, I would encourage everyone to do so. If you are in Virginia and you're looking for a photographer, check me out. Maybe I could take you some pics. So I'll put all that in the episode description. I bought a new camera, a very fancy, very expensive new camera. I had my previous camera for like 8 years, I think. I was going on 8 years with that thing. She'd seen some shit, done some shit. She still takes amazing pictures, but I felt like it was time to really step up my game a little bit, which you don't have to have a super high-tech, super expensive camera to take good pictures, but I felt like it was time to explore new cameras, and my 8-year-old camera was getting a little slow, so I did it. I bought an expensive camera. It was hard and it hurt my heart and my wallet, but it will hopefully pay for itself next year. Let's see. Some other highlights from 2019. This one might be kind of lame to folks. I don't really care, but I started to read more. To read again, I should say. I don't know when or why I stopped reading, but I definitely did. I used to read a lot when I was younger. It was kind of like my way to escape and to explore new worlds and really kind of like disappear for a while. And somewhere in the process of getting old, I guess, I stopped reading. And so this year I really tried to get back into it, because they say, right, like if you want to write, you need to read. And I fully believe that is true, because you're exercising kind of that muscle in your brain, that creative muscle. And so I started to read again. Some of the books that I really enjoyed this year include I Might Regret This by Abby Jacobson. That book was great. I loved it, and there were a lot of parts in it that mirrored my own life. So it was really touching. I definitely cried while I was reading it. Let's see, some other ones. I liked Chelsea Handler, Life Will Be the Death of Me and You Too. Another book where a lot of it was applicable to my own life. Saw pretty much through the entire book. It was, again, amazing. I'll probably reread it here soon because it was a good one. The Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murder, a how-to guide, of course, because, you know, if you're a murderino, you have probably listened to or read that book. It was a good one. Let's see. So You Want to Start a Podcast by Kristen Meisner. It was the reason I started my podcast. I wanted to. I really love, so she does a podcast with Jolenta Greenberg called By the Book, where they read self-help books and then they live by them for like a week, I think, or two. And then they talk about it on their podcast. And I like fell in love with that podcast this year. And she came out with this book. So you want to start a podcast? And I was like, yeah, I fucking do. So I read it, marked the shit out of it, and then used it kind of as a checklist for starting my own, from, you know, the layout of the podcast to the intro music to the equipment to the editing software, like all of it. I used their book to kind of guide me because I had absolutely no idea where to start. So it's a great book. If you want to start a podcast, I highly recommend it. I actually went back and reread some of the books that I really enjoyed when I was younger, like in my early teens. And so that's been kind of fun to go and reread them, and they kind of hit different when you're older, but they still have a lot of like great takeaways. That's been kind of fun to go back and read those. So that was kind of my 2019 in review. I did get to do some other fun things, like I went to the Halloween haunt, which was a fucking blast. Like, go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. Ghouls just want to have fun. God, yeah, it was just so much fun. Probably, like, that was my 4th year going, I think, and was the best year, honestly. I also got to hang out with my friends more. I feel like I'd been MIA for like the last 2 years because of my job, and so it's been good to kind of reconnect with them, and then also hang out with them in a different kind of aspect, because we're not coworkers anymore. So it's kind of changed, I think, our relationships a little bit. So it's been interesting kind of figuring that out this year as well. What else did I get to do besides going to Scotland? I went camping this year. I hadn't gone camping in 5 years maybe. And that was great too. Like, I'm realizing that I need to spend more time outdoors, because it's truly when I'm the happiest, when I can just like shut off my phone and just disconnect from everything and just be outside, whether it's hiking or camping or just sitting outside reading a book. Honestly, does wonders for me. So getting to go camping was a blast, and just getting out more. Like, I went for quite a while. I went for a couple months straight where literally every weekend was booked up with something, and that was great, but also, you know, kind of terrible at the same time. But it was good because I definitely needed it, and I definitely needed to reconnect with people. I got 2 tattoos this year. That was awesome. I want to get more. I want to keep going. I want to cover my arms in little fucking tattoos. So 2020, let's do it. Yeah, so that's my 2019. Let's hear from a couple of my friends about how their 2019s have gone.
2019. Wow, what a year. I started in a new job. I moved to a new city. Both are supposed to be 2 very stressful things in your life, but I found that they weren't as stressful as maybe they would have been if I hadn't have had a great group of friends waiting at my new job for me. So we had some great times this past spring, summer, and fall in Old Town Alexandria. Some great days, some great evenings, some great late nights. Just a good time all around. I went to the Galapagos in April of 2019 and swam with sharks, saw some tortoises, penguins, lots of wildlife. Then went to France and Switzerland in September and had an amazing time there, road tripping around France and Switzerland. And I'm extremely excited for 2020 and the adventures that await. Happy 2020!
Hello, podcast listeners. This is Heather trying to recap my 2019 for our fabulous hostess, so she can also have a fantastic year-end review for 2019. My 2019 was full of adventure and a little bit of loss, but overall a great year. Started out in ringing in 2019 in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. It's a great little area if you've never been. And did a first day hike in Valley Forge Park, which was pretty amazing. The weather was perfect and not a lot of people out. Good place for the dogs as well if you have a pupper. And kids. It was good for kids too. A lot of kids were out. So highly recommend that. And then I will continue the next bit in another recording. Hey, this is Heather again, 2019 recap. After Vegas, we continued with the awesome year. I participated in a fundraising event and a charity event called the Women's Best Friend Project for a photographer just outside of Philly. And my dog and I went up to her studio in Pennsylvania and did a fantastic photo shoot all day and got some really great photos of my dog. So if you've never been a model for somebody, I highly recommend it. It's a ton of fun. The pictures that were resulted from that were amazing. And of course, raising money for, an animal rescue organization is always a plus. And I think she raised a lot of money, so that's always a good thing too. 2019 recap. So spring 2019, I was in New York for a work trip, but of course wanted to take a little time to kind of sightsee because there's always something to see in New York City. And I finally made it to the Stonewall Inn to, really understand the LGBTQ movement and where it started and support, those folks that have come so far and still have a long way to go. But it was absolutely fascinating to have a seat at the bar, have a couple drinks, talk to the bartenders, and just listen and learn. So highly recommend to go to that place if you're ever in New York City. All right, more of Heather's 2019. So this year I really tried to do more yoga. And my yogi that I love also does yoga with farm animals. So this year was goat yoga, bunny meditation with little lion-headed bunnies, and kitten yoga. And let me tell you, it's all very fabulous, and I highly recommend those activities as well. Here in Northern Virginia, there's all kinds of things to keep your interest piqued. And farm animal yoga is definitely on the top of that list for me. So the really fun thing of 2019 for Heather is my 40th birthday trip this November. Celebrated the big 4-0 and did that in Sonoma, California, long weekend. And then once that weekend was done, I took 2 weeks off and drove from Sonoma to Seattle with just my dog. And kind of really no plan except just to get to Seattle in 2 weeks. And we had a great time. We stopped and hiked and I saw redwoods and I drove through a bomb cyclone. I avoided heavy snow and blizzard-like conditions and saw whales and just breathed in that, Pacific Northwest air and saw Mount St. Helens. So go to the Pacific Northwest. It's magical and fabulous.
Katie's 2019 recap. Here we go. So 2019 is my first year one at my job, visiting family and friends. You want to check out some of those friend adventures, go listen to those earlier podcast episodes. But so making new friends, spending time with old ones, doing all the good stuff, comedians, concerts, developing a new Artemat obsession, all those great things. And looking forward to 2020, who knows what's coming, but I'm hopefully, really focusing on making time to see friends I haven't seen, see friends I do see, but not enough. And then also going and doing new adventures in North Carolina, exploring my new state and having a great time and just, being me, living life, feeling joy. That's it.
I want to thank my friends who called in again. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a fantastic 2020. Here are a few of my hopes for 2020. I don't like to call them resolutions because I just don't. But they're things that I hope to do or that I hope to experience next year. So 2019 I was really focused on my mental health. But for 2020, I am hoping to focus on my physical health and just getting physically fit. I used to be super in shape, and now I'm not at all. I feel like if I start working out, I will feel better just in general. I just want to be more active and yeah, get out there, try new things, which is again is what the podcast is about. But I want to get out there, try some different exercise classes, like kickboxing, bar, like ballet for fitness, like aerial silks, pole dancing. Like I just want to try all these different fitness classes that I always told myself I would sign up for, and then I never fucking did. So I've already signed up for a kickboxing class with Julie. And Tara is also taking that same kickboxing class, but in a different location. So we will be doing that and then getting together to talk about it if we survive. So that's an episode that'll be coming up in 2020. I also think I want to take a dance class or get back into dance. I used to dance when I was younger. I'm not going to say that I was good at it. I've seen videos of myself and it was really just like a lot of floppy arms and like awkward movements. But I think it's a fun way to get in shape and to, again, kind of be creative. It's another creative outlet. Yeah, I think I want to get back into dancing. And basketball. I fucking love basketball. I played it all through high school, like, well, pretty much since the time I could walk. And I'd love to get back into that. Like, nothing too intense, right? Just some, like, rec games. But I miss it. And I want to get back into it. So in 2020, I'm going to definitely try to join some basketball leagues. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I survive all of it. But overall, I'm just looking to be more active in some way. Stepping up my photo game and continuing to learn and grow, which I kind of said earlier. Like, I'll be taking some photography classes. I really want to build out kind of my client base and also I just want to take pictures. Like, I really don't care if people buy them or look at them or whatever, but I just want to get outside and take photos. And I want to, like, I think my goal with photography is I want to invoke some type of feeling in people with my pictures. And so I want to do that next year. I want to keep doing it, I guess, and focus and get better and keep going with that. Which kind of ties into the next thing, which again, I kind of already mentioned. I want to spend more time outdoors. I want to be in nature. I miss it. It's one of the reasons why I became an archaeologist, because I never wanted to be in an office. But here I am. I'm kind of chained to a desk. So I want to make myself get outside more and be outside and be in nature and enjoy it and hopefully be happier because of it. I also want to move, which is kind of a weird thing. Again, these aren't resolutions. They're just kind of things I'm hoping for in 2020. Like I love Alexandria and I especially love Old Town, but I kind of want to move somewhere that is more in nature. Kind of has like a small town vibe that is by the water, has a lower cost of living, and I don't know. I'm just looking for a different vibe, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like Washington is kind of a very heavy place to live. I feel like there's a lot of stress. I don't know if people are happy here. I'm just speaking for myself, and I'm not. Like, Washington's just not like my jam, and so I'm kind of just looking to get out, looking to move somewhere that I like better. I have no idea where that is, but one of my goals is to kind of visit a couple places that I have in mind in 2020 and check them out, and then to start looking for jobs in those areas if I find a place that I really love, and then move there. Maybe not in 2020, but soon. I want to continue to build my empire, as I like to say, so I can work for myself. as I kind of mentioned before, that is really the end game for me right now. I want to work for myself. I want to build my own company. I want to have my own empire. I want to be creative and share that with people in some way. So I want to continue building towards that. I would like to see my family in 2020. I haven't been home in probably 3 years now. I haven't seen any of my siblings or my mom. So I think 2020 is probably a good time to try to make the trek somewhere, either to Nebraska or maybe like try to meet them halfway. Of course, continue to plan for my next international trip, which will hopefully be in 2021. And I might get a pet. I miss kind of having that companionship. So maybe 2020 I'll get a pet. I recently tried to adopt a dog in December, and so many other people liked that same dog and applied for that same dog that they held a lottery where they just pulled a name out of a bucket, and my name was not called, so I did not get that dog. It was kind of sad, but I kind of see it as the universe telling me that now is not the time for me to get a pet. I need to wait a little longer, and then I'll try again. A few other things that I hope to try in 2020. I want to go rock climbing. I want to learn how to rock climb. Not anything too fucking crazy, but just like maybe go into one of those fancy rock climbing gyms and trying it out. I've gone bouldering before. I've done like rappelling, and I have done like rock climbing walls before, but it's been a very long time. So I want to, give it a go, try it out, see if I like it. Who knows? I'd like to do some like adventure parks or like obstacle courses, maybe do like Warrior Dash again. I did one many, many years ago, and it was just a fucking blast. Like I was super out of shape, and I couldn't do much, like I didn't run a whole lot, like I wasn't trying to beat anyone, but I loved the obstacles. Like I don't know what it is, I don't know why I love like obstacles and climbing shit and sliding down shit and like walking across beams over water. I don't know if it's like driven by fear, but I love it, and I always feel amazing at the end of it because I can sit there and I can say I did that. Like I did that. I climbed that massively inclined wall with a rope and then slid down the other side. Like, I don't know. It's a cool thing to do. I absolutely love it. I like the rush I get from it. So hopefully we'll be doing a Warrior Dash or maybe like a Muddy Princess. I've never done one of those, but it could be something else to try. Skydiving. If you listen to other episodes, you know, I think I have like 5 different friends now that want to go skydiving in the next year. So why the fuck not? I think I'm going to go skydiving next year, and it's terrifying, but again, why not? What do I have to lose? So I think I'm just going to fucking do it. It'll be terrifying, but again, I think it'll be one of those moments where I can look back and I can say I fucking did that. I went skydiving. I did that. And it was terrifying, but I accomplished that thing. So looking forward to that. Hopefully we actually do it. Something else that again is kind of like, I guess, I don't know, maybe not as exciting for some people, but I'm going to start applying for like photography and writing fellowships and retreats, and you know, maybe try to get into some of those. Love the idea of kind of being in a historic house in the hills of Virginia for like a month, just writing or taking photos or doing both, and just really kind of focusing on my craft, I guess. Which sounds silly to say to me anyways, but yeah, I want to do it. And what's the worst that could happen, right? They'll tell me no, and that's fine. I'll try again. So I don't think I would have ever had the guts to apply for something like that, but I don't know, man. Like I'm feeling pretty good about everything right now. So why not try it? Why not like shoot for that shit that you want to achieve? And you know, if the answer is no, you just gotta fucking keep going. Try again. Being told no isn't like the end of the world when it comes to that type of stuff. You just have to take the feedback and get better and then keep going forward. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to in 2020. So that was a lot. I have a lot of things I want to do and I want to accomplish in 2020, and I feel good about all of it. Like I like the direction that I'm going, and I hope I can continue kind of on that path and continue to grow and try new things and share those experiences with everyone, even if there's only 5 of you. Hopefully you get something out of it. I'm hoping to inspire people to go out and try new things. Like that is really kind of the end goal. Like if I can do it, you can fucking do it. Yeah, I'm just hoping to inspire people to get out there and try new things. And even if you're terrified, you can look back on it and be proud of yourself because you've done something. You've accomplished something that you never thought you would be able to. And that's really something that I learned in 2019. I did a lot of stuff that I never thought I would ever be able to do in my life. And it was a rough year. There were a lot of lows in 2019, but you know, it started to pick up towards the end there. And I just want to carry that forward to 2020. Again, I want to wish you all a happy new year. I hope that you had a great 2019, and even if you didn't, 2020 is a new year, so you can move forward, pick up the pieces from 2019, and keep pushing forward in 2020, and you can do amazing things. And I hope that everyone has the opportunity to do that, to keep working on themselves, again, getting out there, exploring new things, trying new things, and just continuing to build yourself up and to push forward with what you want in life. Again, I want to thank my listeners. And I'm hoping that there will be more of you in 2020 and that I will, keep going with this podcast. I know, again, I really enjoy doing it, and I hope that, some people enjoy listening to it. Please share it with your friends, your family, and get out there, try some new things, and have some fucking fun. Bye!
Dear Allie, you're great, and I love you. Have a great 2020.